All right. Hello and welcome to I think we have officially named it From Grits to Gossip podcast. My name is Shaw Ashley and I am here with
Cassie from The Circle Season 6.
Awesome. And we're going to be discussing season 7 of The Circle. And so we wanted to start out and kind of get to know each other, and we're going to get to know this season's cast member. So, Cassie, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, of course. In case somebody doesn't know who I am, I was on The Circle Season 6. I played as myself. I was not a catfish. I've got 5 kids. Well, two are mine, 3 are my stepchildren. I married my high school sweetheart. He had like 5 affairs. Dumped him finally and found my Prince Charming. And we're about to get married here in like November, like in a month or two. And I'm from Kentucky, if y'all can't tell. I'm your typical ditzy country blonde, I guess you could say. And if y'all watch the show, you know that to be very true. And I think that's about, oh, I'm 30. I don't like to tell people that, but I mean, I guess we're going to be open and honest on this podcast, so might as well throw that out there. Okay, so I think that's enough about me. So, Shaw, tell us about you.
Thank you. My name's Shaw. I am a college student. I go to Clemson University, future teacher, and I am a huge Survivor and Big Brother fan. Watched a couple seasons of The Circle, and I'm just now getting back into it. So I'm really excited to discuss here about what we think and all of our thoughts and our gossip that we have to share for season 7. It's been an interesting first couple of episodes. So how we're going to kind of do this is we're going to discuss the first 4 episodes. We're going to go from a block style. So for those that are fans of The Circle, you know that they release episodes in groups of 4. So we're going to discuss the first 4 episodes all together here in this first podcast. So I think we're going to go through each of the contestants before we get started with episode 1. So I'm just going to quickly go through them. So Deb, I like Deb a
Deb.
lot.
Deb, I love her.
She's 54. She lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but she's got this connection with Staten Island in some way. I know she says that her mom, Rachel's mom, is from Staten Island. I don't know what the true connection is. I'm not sure.
Oh, wait. I didn't catch that. So is Rachel not her daughter?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, anyway. we'll research that. Give me
We
5 minutes
will.
and I'll find that out.
But she's playing as a 26-year-old Rachel, I believe. It's if probably I would guess. Usually it's a family member or friend, but I couldn't imagine she's got a 26-year-old friend. But anyways, she has this connection to Staten Island, and she is playing Rachel. But I really am enjoying Deb so far. I always root for the older person usually, just because I feel like with the circle there's only one older person, the rest are 20 and 30. So I immediately wanted to root for Deb coming into this, but she's definitely entertaining.
Very. I call her the Angela from Big Brother. Like she's giving me Angela vibes. Totally down for it. It's great TV. Very entertaining. I'm Team Deb so far.
Yeah. So moving on to Kevin K. Fern. He's
Okay,
23
well,
years
hold
old.
on.
Okay.
Just the K Fern alone, like, is that like a self-proclaimed nickname? Because
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
I
Like,
I don't know
he's
what his last name is. I don't know how Kayfern came about. And then when Michelle comes on and calls him Kayfern, I'm like, come on, this is stupid.
yeah. Because when I think of K Fern, I think of like Kevin Federline. If you're a big Britney Spears fan, you know exactly who that is. And I'm like, no, okay. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
You know you're good. So he's from San Diego, California. He is a wine and alcohol sales rep and promises to give as much alcohol as he can to anybody. Not a great salesman, if you ask me. And he's playing himself, but as a lifeguard. I'm not sure what the difference or significance is, but that's what he's doing. Not a.
Especially since he says that he is the life of the party. I've heard him mention that like 3 or 4 different times. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, well, why didn't you just say you sell alcohol? You can provide the party. Makes no
Mhm.
sense. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think that would really tie it all together, but he doesn't, I guess, think that way. I think I remember I noted that he's not a huge fan of the circle. Or maybe I'm not a huge fan of him. All I wrote was not a huge fan. I feel like maybe now that I said that, I'm not a huge fan of him, but he's probably
But
a
it
fan of
is
himself.
what it is.
Yeah. Um, Darian, 29 years old. What do we think about Darian?
Like him, and because he's a teacher, you're in school to be a teacher, and guess what, I am too. I've only got like a semester left, and I'll hopefully, fingers crossed, will be teaching in second grade. But what draws me to him is his accent, that southern, there's just something about a southern drawl, and I just gravitate toward him. Does he have the most energy? No. Is he the most entertaining? No. But I do feel as if he's very genuine.
Yeah,
Do like him.
I agree. He is from Jackson, Mississippi, and he, like you said, he's a teacher and he's playing as himself, which I think is a good decision. I think he'll provide a lot, being that he's playing himself and not, I don't know. Sometimes when they catfish, like Deb attempting to do Rachel, it's probably going to go downhill at some point. So I think it's good that he's playing himself because I feel like it would be hard for him to catfish and play somebody else. I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Because, like I said, he's not the most entertaining. It's not like
Mhm.
he's dry or anything, but I think it was a good, safe choice to just continue to be him instead of pretending to be somebody else.
I agree. So moving on to your favorite people. JoJo and Nikki, they're the twins from Staten Island, New York, 24 years old.
Yeah, and thanks for calling me out like that. But I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna be full transparent on this podcast. So if you get your feelings hurt, you might as well just go on to the next one now. But maybe it's the southern in me. Like, we're sweet and like we're very welcoming. And I feel like, and this could just be prejudging just from what I've seen on TV, but like the New York, I just feel like they come across so hard and so harsh and very their way or no way, when I'm used to being like, oh, no, you go. No, you
Yep.
go. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So maybe they'll grow on me, but as of right now, they're super annoying and very dominant.
I agree. They're playing as one person. They're playing as one of their girlfriends, Gianna, a 22-year-old nursing student. Um, and I mean, kind of like first opening, they got that connection with Rachel slash Deb from Staten Island. And that'll play out more as we talk about it later down in the podcast. But that's kind of like the pre-existing note that I have.
But also, side note, they are identical twins.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot tell them apart. So
Mm-mm.
I feel so sorry for Gianna, because how the crap does she know which one's which? Because they even sound the same. It freaks
Mhm.
me out. So you know what, Gianna, props to you. But who knows? She may have both of them and just don't know it.
You never
Wouldn't
know.
that be something?
That would be like, could you imagine they like just pulled a fast one on her and God forbid, you don't even know what would happen.
Oh no, it'd be terrible. I feel sorry for her. She should. Anyway, I'll just keep my own personal to myself for now.
For
For now,
now.
let me get warmed up.
Yeah. So next up is Heather, 26-year-old from Detroit, Michigan. She's a rock metal VIP tourism manager. It's a mouthful.
And she's catfishing as Andy.
She
Did you
is.
already say that?
Yes. Well, no, I
Oh, sorry.
didn't.
Oh,
She's playing as Andy, who is a 34-year-old musician.
yes. I could be very biased. I personally love Heather. She was the very first one out of this cast to send me a message personally and introduced herself and all that. And like, we've talked on the phone, we've sent voice clips, and I love her because she is truly herself. Like, what you're seeing on the screen is exactly how she is in real life. It's not put on, it's not fake, it's not exaggerated for the TV. I really, really like her, and I'm really rooting for her. And I think it's funny and I think it's cute that she basically is still being herself, but in a male body, because he's blonde, he's got the tattoos, he's in the band. I am like a fangirl of Heather slash Andy.
I can't believe that. Andy rejected her. I can't get over that.
I know, and I feel so sorry for him. And he's cute, she's cute. Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a personal thing where they work together. Maybe they don't want to mess it up in case it doesn't work out. But
Mm-hmm.
no, when she said that, I was like, "But yeah, you're going to catfish as him? I would have gave
Right.
him the time of day.
Well,
Absolutely
this
not."
is probably her way of trying to get them together.
Oh, yeah, go for round two one more
Mm-hmm.
time. But no, like if they reject you the first time, don't go back.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But she's young. She's, how old is she again?
She
Oh,
is
no, she's 26.
26.
No,
Yeah.
she should know by now that men are dogs, no offense. She should know
Hmm.
by now. So, no, hopefully they don't work out
Yeah.
because you don't reject my girl and try to get her back. No way.
8 year difference, and that plays a part. This 34-year-old situation that Andy's got going on, because even when we have an older person on the cast, they still play as a 20-something-year-old. So it's rare that I feel like they play as like a 34-year-old, because obviously you're trying to block people, and the big thing is like a love connection. And I think, we noticed at first it was going to be difficult to find that, but I think there's a lot more to talk about with that as we get going.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to deeper dive into that. Who do we got next?
Jadeja.
Jad- I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce that. I have tried. Say it one more time.
Jadeja.
Jad- Jadasia.
There you go.
Beautiful, but I listen. My accent is so thick it won't let me come out. She is a cybersecurity engineer. That sounds really smart. And she's playing as herself, and I think that's another safe choice, just like Darian. She seems very true to who she is. She's got a wonderful story. I'm sure we'll dive into that as we get into the episodes. But I'm liking her. I didn't at first. I will be honest. She come off a little HBIC, I guess, and I'm very standoffish to that. But I'm starting to really like her.
So the last person from this initial, cast drop was Savannah, who was a 22-year-old or is from Texarkana,
Texarkana.
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 There you go. She's a student who is not studying to be a brain surgeon.
But she's had brain surgery.
Right.
She had a brain tumor. Is that right?
Yes, she had a brain tumor, but I forget who it was that made me laugh. Because her bio said student, but there it said brain surgery. So everyone or a couple people thought she was going to medical school. So it made me laugh. But yes, she has had brain surgery. She's
Maybe that explains a lot. I didn't think about it right there. Maybe that explains a lot. And from one blonde to another, I get having blonde moments. But we'll deep into when we get into episode one, we'll talk
hmm
more about her. But yes, Savannah, 22, beautiful girl. Texarkana, she's a student, had brain surgery, and I just put the two and two together. That may explain a lot. Okay, anyway.
So, diving into episode one, right out of the gate, we have this first challenge, which I thought was really fun for a first challenge, the Mile
Yes, it
High
was
Club
good.
Challenge.
Yeah, it's like I love those like icebreaker games. We had one in our season, and I'm about positive they have one every season.
hmm
It is a good way to get to know somebody without coming up and being like, "Tell me everything about you, all of your dirty little secrets." And I think it's so fun.
hmm
And I only hope that they're being honest. Which some of these that answered, I was like, "There's no way. Like you're
Yeah.
lying. You're trying to come across as a goody two shoe." But
hmm
anyway, what was your okay? So what do we have? We had the nude photo, right?
hmm
If anybody had sent a nude,
Which I was surprised that so many people did. Like when Rachel, like I was like, God help us all. Like I was so confused, like what was happening. I was honestly surprised Jadeja was the only one who put no. Now whether that's true or not, God only knows. But
you
um,
were surprised. I mean, you got to
yeah,
think we've got a group of all young people. Of course,
Yeah.
they send a titty pic. I mean, come on. That's what them young people
Right. I
do.
know, but I just felt like, maybe there were some morals, some ethics, but no, threw that out the window. Nude photos for life. I'm not sure, but that's what happened. And then we had
See,
the my.
that challenge, that when Jadeja said that she didn't, I don't believe that. I mean, I really think it's a cover up of her trying to be good and come
Mhm.
across a certain way. I'm telling you right now, as pretty as she is, we've all got our wild side. How old is she? 24? I can't
Uh-huh.
remember.
24.
She has sent a titty pic. She's lying like a dog. She just don't want her mama getting on the Netflix and watching her. She is lying.
Yep. And then we got to the Mile High Club, which I think this was worded as like, would you ever do
Yes.
the Mile High?
That's how I took it too, is would you
Yes.
join the club?
And again, everyone said yes except Jadeja, which was
Because she's tore all to pieces that her mama is going to watch and she is saying, no, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. Don't believe that she wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's so fun, let's go. I don't believe that.
Sometimes I wonder because I saw this Mile High thing on at the Ellen DeGeneres show. And I'm like,
Hmm.
how do you do you have to get a first class seat for that? Because I can't imagine in an economy seat on an American Airlines flight that anything would be happening. But I guess
No,
stranger things have happened.
I think you go to the bathroom.
I
I
guess.
think that's where you join the Mile High Club is in the bathroom.
Those poor children. I mean, gosh. Like the babies
I mean,
crying.
would I do it? Yeah, because I mean, why not? If I knew I wouldn't get caught, because I have heard that if you get caught, there's like a huge fine. Like you have to pay, and it's a huge fine. So maybe she opted out because she doesn't have that $100,000 yet and
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to pay that fine. But
Hmm.
I'm kind of like you, like why do it? But at the same time, why not? You're young and fun. Just go do it.
Yep, I agree. Then we got to an interesting one, and you're probably not going to like what I would have said, but the icy lake and jumping in to save a dog was interesting to me. And then in this one, everyone said that they would except Darian.
I would have been right there next to Darian. I'm sorry, I don't like to be cold, and if this is gonna make me sound like a terrible person, I just don't blame him. Like if it's cold and it's a dog that's not yours, and if it was dumb enough to go walk on the lake and sink through, or if me as the owner was dumb enough to allow it to happen, then let nature take its course. Because I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I would not have, and it's only because I don't really care for animals, and as
See,
awful as
me
that sounds.
either.
Okay, good.
Me either. We
Good.
don't have any animals. I refuse to get one. My kids ask all the time, Mommy, can I get a puppy? Yeah, when you live on your own.
Right.
Absolutely. But not in my house.
Hmm.
But I will say, from being on the show, these questions are important because they are judging you. I think even though me personally outside of this circle, I would have obviously opted out. But I think for the game's sake and to persuade them into liking me, I would have saved the dog.
Yeah, I agree. And then the last one was the text on the partner's phone, which again, everyone said yes to except Darian.
He's lying. You can't sit here and tell me that you've never one A just picked up the phone while they're sleeping or in the
Hmm.
bathroom and snooped through it, or two when you're sitting there on the couch and their phone's going off and they're texting, you're like this, like looking over,
Hmm.
like side eyed and trying to see. Bull crap. I call bull crap.
Yeah, that one I agree with. Like, I think that's everyone should have said yes to that. I'm glad Jadeja flipped up on that one and chose the right answer. Yeah, and
Yeah, because she was trying to go back and forth.
hmm based on his personality, I'm really surprised that he didn't. Based on his other answers, you'd think that he'd at least look at the wallpaper on the phone, nonetheless swipe open and open a texting app.
And also, he is a middle school teacher. And I'm sure I mean, the internet can be mean. And I'm sure that there's been a situation to where he's had to get on somebody's phone and to squash an issue. So,
Mm,
I
Yeah.
think he's baloney. That was a baloney answer.
He's awful brave, especially all his students knowing he's on this. He's up here sending nude photos, hunching on an airplane. Like, he's awful brave. So you'd think that he would at least text a partner's phone. Look at text. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think right after the challenge is when we see our first private chat. And this was
Mm-hmm.
between Rachel and Gianna. And they started this Staten Island bond that ended up, playing out for a while now.
Yeah, but I mean, for me personally, I don't understand. Like, I get, like, oh yeah, we're neighbors, but starting an alliance just because your mom went to their same high school, what does it matter? What does it matter? But that makes sense when you're sitting on the couch. But when you're actually in the game,
Mhm,
you're wanting to make an alliance with anybody and everybody,
mhm,
and you don't care who it is. So
mhm,
I can see both sides of how it started, but why? What does it matter that they went
mhm.
to the same school? Beyond me.
Yeah. And they quote unquote called themselves Ray Shauna. Ray Chana, Ray Shauna. And that's how they're gonna continue this Staten Island duo from, girls. I mean, it's just stupid. I think it's stupid. And it's probably because I don't like New York, but that's what it is.
Well, see, that's me. Like, I have a hard time with New York. I just think they're all rude and so aggressive.
They are. But, if you're from New York and you're watching this,
We
I
look.
hope you're not. Please
Yeah,
continue
we
to
look.
watch. But that's the what we think. Um, then we go to Darian, Andy, and Kevin start this private group chat, the Bros. Um, so what do we think about this?
Typical. I mean, from season one up until now, you are going to have guy alliances and you're going to have girl alliances. The girls are going to try to take the guys out. The guys are going to take the girls out. We'll see how long it lasts. Actually, in this first four batch of episodes, we see how far that it goes as far as keeping the bros over the hose.
Well,
So I can just see this not going very far because from the jump, this has turned into a single season.
mhm,
Everybody's just looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And
including Deb.
including, yeah, every single one of them. Every single one of them, except for Garrett. Oh, we've not talked about Gary yet because okay, so spoiler, sorry. But anyway, everybody is partnered up.
Mhm,
And I'm sorry, we may not agree on this, but I'm sick and tired of dating shows. I love them, don't get me wrong.
mhm.
But I also like a break from them. I want to see normal people, not all these super hot people coupling up. You know what I mean? Like, give me something more.
Well, and I really think that that's how this show was designed to be. Like, as someone who was a big fan of the first initial couple of seasons, I think it was great because it wasn't about really a whole lot of relationship stuff. And I mean, it just feels like every single person on this cast is wanting, and other
Is
than,
single
yeah.
or portraying to be single. And like, for instance, when I was going through my interview process, I said I want to go in as single because you have an advantage. You can flirt, you can mingle and all this stuff. And they were like, no, we want you to state that you are engaged. And I was like, well, that's going to ruin my game. And I'm thinking, well, they should make everybody like split it up half and half, half single, half not, regardless if you are in real life or not. But I think it would make the game harder because so far you got all these alliances just because you think their profile picture is cute. When for Dad, for instance, she's a 54-year-old woman. And for
Hmm.
Gianna, you got two boys. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's so frustrating.
I think it would be cool one season if they like assigned you had to do this. And I think it would be interesting to see how these people have to like literally create a whole story and talk as this person they don't have any clue who it is. I think that'd be cool.
That would be fun. That would switch it up. I think that would get a lot of viewers in.
Hmm. So the last kind of private chat before we got to the ratings was between Rachel and Savannah, a private chat that got really deep. Deb ended up becoming emotional, and Savannah, shared some of her story with Rachel slash Deb.
Yeah, and as a mommy myself, I could not imagine. So my heart goes out to Deb, makes me love her even more. I couldn't imagine losing a child.
Yeah.
Absolutely could not. She's a whole lot stronger than me because I'll go ahead and tell you, I would be in the ground right
Mm,
with them, to be
yeah.
completely honest. So props to Deb, and I hate that for her. And also Savannah, she talked about how she had the brain tumor. It was a good conversation, and I do feel like it was very genuine. But what I didn't understand is, once again, why everybody is trying to couple up. Like, why is Deb already trying to set her son up?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, like with
Like,
everybody.
yeah,
Like,
why?
I don't get it. But who knows? Deb's just trying to be helpful with her husband's pillow face on the pillow that she hides for every raunchy thing that ever occurs. It's great.
Yeah, because I mean, she clearly has children, so she can't be too innocent the way she's acting right now. But
Hmm.
it's cute. I'm really enjoying it. It's good TV.
Yes, I agree. And so we get to after this conversation, they get an alert, and it's time for the ratings. First ratings of the season, not, everyone didn't have a conversation, at least the what was aired. Not everyone had a conversation at this point. So there's only so much you can go off of. So who were you surprised? You want to talk about who became influencers?
Yeah, so we had Andy and Savannah as the influencers. I was terrible at rating. If you watch the season, you know I screwed it all up. But I feel like on that very first episode, I feel like, of course, you want to be the influencer, but at the same time, it can destroy your game because you're having to block somebody right off. It could come across a certain way. People have alliances that you don't know of. You could have chopped somebody's alliance and now they're coming after you. So, me personally, I wouldn't want to be the very first influencer. Would you? How do you feel about that? Or would you rather?
It's like Big Brother. Nobody wants to be the first head of household because you've
Nope.
got, and it's different because in Big Brother you see these people and you have to live and deal with them. So it's nice on the circle where you can kind of literally hide behind a person if you want to, but I wouldn't want to have that target on my back. And we see how this affects some of our players down the road here, being these first influencers. So I wouldn't want to.
Mm-mm. No. Nope, nope, nope.
So
But
yeah.
in lieu of that, we got the destructor mode,
Hmm.
right? So you can either have an advantage or a disadvantage, and you don't know what you're going to get. You just activate it and hope for the best, from
Hmm.
my understanding. And we see it play out. How do you feel about this destructor mode?
I think it's a really cool addition twist to the game. And I think as it goes through the episodes, it's pretty good. I think at first people were probably, well, they were very nervous about it, but we saw where people were quick to want to do that. But I mean, again, I think it's a great addition to the game. It switches it up a little bit, brings some more drama in amidst all of this horniness.
Well, see, I'm just ticked off that they didn't have this on my season, because maybe I could have lasted a lot longer. Because I would have used it every time, regardless if it was good or bad. But another thing that's like turning in my head is, okay, there's no button to push. All they have to do is stand there and scream disruptor.
Mm.
So how are they really choosing who gets it? Because it's showing us all of them screaming it at the same time, but like, who really said it first? Like, who's
Right.
really determining that? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I don't like it in that aspect. I do believe there should be a button, or maybe even play a game to win the reward,
Hmm.
regardless if you want it or not.
Yeah.
That way it's not so, oh, well, they just let them have it.
Hmm. Or this you could do like when they wake up in the morning, all eight people where they have that good morning circle. That would be an opportunity like with a timestamp just to cover your butt because that's something like I hate to keep going back to Big Brother, but there's a lot of similarities in terms of it's a live competition and you have the proof. Obviously, this is
Yep.
pre-recorded. But I feel like just from a production standpoint, it would make more sense to cover themselves.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah. I wrote down a funny quote that I thought was hilarious. Janasia was so nervous, with this whole thing and the disruptor mode. She said, feeling pressure in my ass because my heart is there. And that just cracked me up. And I really like her. And I think the beginning of it really, I was like, I didn't really, was not vibing with it at first. And, I just thought that Janasia, although it came off a little strong, I think she was the most like normal. Like, because
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
everybody was so overly excited, and Janasia was just like, I'm just here. Like, and I
Yeah.
appreciated that. And so,
Yeah, because
yeah.
when you're going in, like you're standing at the door, right? And they'll say, I'm going to count to three, two, one, and you're going to walk in. We want it big, we want it energetic. And if not, we'll start over. So I'm curious if that's just like, that's her being excited, it's just chill, or if they made her redo it and she had the same reaction and they just flowed with it.
Yeah.
I need to ask her. I get to meet her in like 2 weeks, so I'm going to ask her that.
Yes. And for that episode, we can talk about it. We can go back to
Yeah.
those. So that pretty much wraps up episode one. Did you have anything else you wanted to add for episode one?
Not really. They were just booing. We don't even get to know these people before they've got boyfriend and girlfriends at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
no, I think, like I said earlier, I'm over the dating shows. I'm sick and tired of seeing hot people trying to hook up. If that was the case, I would have went and rewatched Love Island. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
want your everyday, typical me and you on the screen
Mm-hmm.
trying to win money and not worried about a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I'm
Mm-hmm.
over it.
I agree. So moving into episode two, we start out with the influencers coming to an influencer chat, and they kind of really bonded and talked about, this Blondie alliance. Maybe you could expand a little bit more on this.
Well, I had my own Blondie alliance in my season. It was me and Miles. We were the little blondies in there. And I just think it's something very easy to throw out there because you don't know anything about this person. You literally just see their profile. And I think it's just a really quick grab. Oh my God, we're both blondes. Let's stick together. I mean, that's what me and Miles done basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't follow him at that. And here's a little behind the scenes. Season 7 was filmed right after season 6. Our season finale was on a Friday. We all flew out Saturday. They were already there and started filming on Monday. So they had no idea. They didn't even get to watch our season before they started filming.
Yeah,
So I just think it's funny that they started the blondies and then me and Miles had a blondie. So I think it's just a natural thing when you see another blonde, like, oh, sissy.
I agree. So there wasn't a whole lot at the beginning of the episode that, I mean, I felt like was important to talk about. It kind of just went straight to like where the blocking fell. And so do you want to talk a little bit about how you thought the Savannah Andy blocking went, that chat?
To be honest, nothing really like stood out. I
Hmm.
feel like it was very easy, very go with the flow. They said, "Okay, I'm not blocking this person. I'm not blocking."
Hmm.
And once again, it's week 1. Not a lot has been established. So even though they get the crappy end of the stick days on afterwards, because they've had to make difficult decisions, but at the same time, that first week is probably the easiest as well, as far as just blocking someone and moving on.
Hmm.
So that's not, like I said, nothing really stood out.
I agree. And then so the influencer chat's over, the blocking talk, whatever you want to call it. And then the alert comes and it's time to reveal who's blocked. And it ends up that Gianna was blocked, which honestly I was kind of surprised with. I mean, I really don't know who I thought was going to be blocked, but I just didn't, I don't know. I thought I wouldn't say they did a great job, but they did communicate with people. So I don't know. I was kind of surprised by this.
Yeah, and then that's when the disruptor mode kicks in, and then they don't get blocked.
Mm.
I would have hated to being Heather slash Andy and Savannah. Here you are, blocking this person. Well, guess what? They get to stay. And so you've automatically got a target on your back. The knife is in their back, so they feel. And you forget when you're there that you don't know these people and you
Mm,
just met. So you've got harsh feelings on both ends. And now that I think about it, I'm kind of glad they didn't have that on my season because you're like screwed either way.
mhm.
But I know I come out strong saying that I didn't like the twins and Gianna, but I think at this point is when I'm starting to like kind of get a good feel with them. So I think it's going to play out interesting, but I can see them because they're so like macho man, you know what I mean? I can see them taking this way too far.
I
I
agree.
can see them just riding this out, thinking that, oh, we didn't get blocked, blah, 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 we're the best. So I'm anxious to see
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. And so after the blocking, we see the first kind of chat come out of this, and it was Gianna and Andy. Influencer, first place, last place. Obviously, there's some tension here, but I think it ended up being a kind of productive conversation. I feel like. What do you think, Cassie?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Um, all these conversations, they make up, and I get Heather doing that. I think that saved her hind end,
Hmm.
trying to smooth it over, and then you have the Jadeja and the Darian chat, and of course they're just flirting, and then you got the Savannah and then the Kevin chat, and what are they doing?
Hmm.
They're flirting. Like, I'm
Hmm.
just so sick of it. Like, let's get into some drama. Let's get juicy. Let's start playing dirty. Like, let's
Yep.
win this $100,000.
Hmm.
You
And
should have signed up for Love is Blind, is what they should have casted or auditioned for, is what they should have done.
and Derry keeps talking about Southern royalty in this conversation, and long live the king and queen. It was a very, very flirty. It was odd. I don't know. It was interesting.
But I
Um,
will say, out of all of the fake couples, I do like them together.
mhm.
I feel like in real life, I'm trying to be careful what I say because I do know some things. Um, I think they would be great.
Yeah.
Outside of what I know, just watching right now, I feel as if they would be a great couple.
And they're
Even though
both.
I hate that they're coupling up, but I do think they would be cute.
Yes. And I think they're both playing themselves. They're both being very natural with each other. So I'm excited, even if they don't get to the end, I'm excited to see. I'm sure when one of them gets voted out, they're gonna visit each other. So I'm excited to see, how that might play out in the future.
Yeah.
Um, and then we get to the Savannah Kevin private chat. I don't even know where to begin with this. Kivana,
Yeah.
flirting, heart emojis. I don't know.
Boring. Next.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I'm not even, I have nothing to say. Just, no, absolutely not, is what I think. So, moving on quickly to that,
moving on.
we meet two new Circle cast members. Do you want to introduce them?
Yes, first up we have Madeline. She is 25 years old and she is a education consultant, whatever that is. I'm not really sure. Do you know what that is? I have no idea. And then slash OnlyFans model. Dot dot dot. She
Mhm.
is from Franklin, Georgia, and she is playing as herself.
I think that she is very brave to
She is.
advertise in her profile. Well, first of all, I think she's brave that it works in education and does OnlyFans because that has been controversial in the past.
Very, because here in Kentucky, not too long ago, a teacher got
Hmm.
fired for having an OnlyFans account. And from my understanding, it was very private. She used a totally different name. But in the South, gossip gets spread,
Hmm.
and she lost her job. And I'm not sure if she lost her teaching license, but she did lose her job at that school. So, like you said, props to her for being brave to
Yeah.
post it, but I personally would not. I would either
Yeah.
just put one or the other,
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely a red flag, I feel like, for people because one, I feel like by putting that, to me, it would be like, okay, this is the real girl because nobody else would put that. But I think it's interesting. I feel like it'd be a red flag just because it's so taboo and it's very kind of controversial in some ways. For somebody like Deb, who's 54, I feel like she, in her mind, would be like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. And I don't know anybody personally, and I've never even thought twice of having one, but I'm sure they do get judged. I mean, the first
Hmm.
thing that I done was judged her,
Hmm.
just being completely honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, props to her for just being truly herself,
Hmm.
regardless of the backlash that she may get.
Hmm.
So, now that we're talking about it, I think I've got a different perspective on it, but at the same time, let's see how she does. Is she
Yeah.
going to flaunt it? Is she going to overdo it? Or is she just going
Hmm.
to be, just have it stated and just move on from it? We'll see. I'm anxious about that.
Yeah.
And then we've got Garrett, who is 25. He is from West Hollywood, California. He's a fitness instructor. And he does not like girls. He likes boys. And that's my fact. Like, I love him. I love the gays. I just draw to them. I love them. And he is one of my favorites. Him and Deb are my two top runners. I hope he takes it all the way. I'm anxious to see how he's going to get in, because when you come in late it is hard because you've
Hmm.
already got alliances and relationships have formed, and especially in this one he's gay and everybody else is straight and coupled
Hmm.
up. So what's he going to do?
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely have a tough time. Obviously, there's not going to be a relationship or anything, but I thought it was hilarious the photo he chose. I thought the puppies made me laugh. It was funny. Um, I think he'll be a very good, interesting character, and I think he's going to have to rely on the alliances and everything, with stuff like that. And what I will say, and I'm flashing forward a little bit, but I'm very pleased that the Bros Alliance is welcoming and wanting him in and kind of creating that. We'll talk more about that down the road, but I was happy to, he is finding his way in the game.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
so we get to our next challenge, the throwback thirsty sexy photo to the chat.
I got so tickled because Deb, bless her heart. I mean, she took that challenge literal. Like, if
Hmm.
I'm not mistaken, didn't Rachel or Deb slash Rachel have like a drink in her hand because she's
Yeah.
thirsty? I thought it was cute. I thought it was innocent, and I just love her. I just
Hmm.
love her.
Yeah.
But who else? Did anybody else like really stand out? I don't remember.
Um, well, was it Savannah who was very, had all the,
Yes, the
yeah.
wet hair, the bikini looking. Yeah, yeah, that's very typical. If you've seen it, it's
Hmm.
very typical 22-year-old wild child Savannah.
Yeah. And I thought Andy's was, I didn't, I thought Andy's was interesting because he was literally just on stage. And I mean, everybody was eating it up, but I was just like, he's just, in a concert on stage. I thought it was interesting, but hey.
Well, as a woman's perspective, there's nothing hotter than a bad boy in a band. And he's got the tattoos, he's tall, he's in the band, he's on stage. And no, I was like, mouth on the floor, like, yeah, sign me up. So I get it. As a woman, I get it. I
Okay.
get it. And
Yeah.
I feel like that was smart for Heather to post that,
Yeah.
because I'm very classy. I
Hmm.
don't need to see your abs. I don't need to see your string bikini. Like, be more creative. Leave a little imagination. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I agree. And then so that was kind of the end of that. It just really, I mean, for anybody who maybe they don't remember, it's been a hot minute, but all they really did, I didn't understand it. What was the goal in the competition? To send the most hard eyes and kiss the most? Like I didn't, what,
Yeah, they were all like 6 heart eyes, 7 fire emojis.
right.
Why? Like, why wouldn't just one do? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. And if you notice, nobody was like, "Oh, that's so hot,"
Hmm.
or "You look so good." It was literally heart eye emojis.
Hmm.
What the crap?
Yeah.
Why?
So, we then go to the disruptor mode comes back up. And Kevin wins this time, this disruptor mode. You want to talk a little bit
Oh,
about
it's
that?
not Kevin, it's K Fern. Because
Or,
he even refers to
okay.
himself as K Fern. Get it
Yes,
right.
I'm sorry.
Oh
But
God.
they did this party for the new players, which always makes me laugh because I can only imagine. What is going on? Let's get a little bit of insight from someone who's been. What are they listening to? Is this an exciting party?
What you're hearing is what we're hearing. Because in my season we had the Getting Hot in Here by Nelly as our little circle party, and they gave us everything that was circles, and that song was playing. And all you do basically is have a party by yourself. That's really what you're seeing is really what you're getting. You're in there by yourself, you're dancing, you're breaking a sweat, and you're wore out within like 30 seconds and you're ready to sit down, but you're
Mm,
not loud. You got to keep going.
yes. Oh, and I forgot. In the throwback thirsty thing, they were drinking. It was a drinking game, right? Was it actual alcohol?
Is more so as a corny little prop.
Okay.
For those that haven't seen it, they all had these really big cups, like these really big wine glasses or martini glasses, or just these really big over the top cups. And no, I don't think it was I just think it was like a corny, because the
Okay.
circle is very corny. Let's just get to it. It's
Yeah.
very corny, very cheesy. And I think it was more so like a prop.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so anyways, K Fern is the disruptor. And it's I guess an advantage. I guess it really wasn't a pro, or, I mean, it was just a party. And he got the opportunity to invite two people.
Mhm.
And he did not choose Savannah, which was shocking.
Well, once again, that's why you don't couple up and you
Hmm.
don't trust a man. I don't know. Sorry, I know you're, but you just don't do it. And
Hmm.
especially at Savannah's age, she should know. She's 22.
Hmm.
She should know by now that you should just stick to yourself or stick with the girls. Don't rely on no man. And she was like really upset. I think
Yeah.
like she tried to hold back more than what she was,
Hmm.
which at the same time, you can't blame her when you think that you're in alliance with somebody and they don't choose you. But at the same time, is it smart to let other people know that you're in alliance with other people?
Hmm.
Not really. So I don't really fault Kevin for that.
Yeah. So he invited Darian and Gianna, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
was it just the three of them? I
Well,
feel.
it was the two new, Madeline and Garrett,
Oh, it was the
and then
two new
those three.
people. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot. So yeah, so it was the party for the new players, and then those three, which was an interesting three. But I guess, hey, it is what
Because
it's. Gianna did
so
good.
what Kevin's mind, from my understanding, what
Hmm.
Kevin's thoughts were, I'll pick one of my bros, and he's made the comment about Jose. I can't say it. We're gonna start calling her Jay. Started making the comments about Jay. He was like, "Okay, I'm gonna help my bro out and have his little boo thing in the party
Hmm.
with." Is how I took it.
Yeah, I agree. Um.
Which, if he was smart, he would have put in people that he had not had a
Mhm.
conversation with or had not had a alliance with. That way, he can get on their good side. Oh, he invited me to this party. I'm going to rake him high.
Yeah. And I just had a note here that I noticed. You might be able to talk more about this, but I feel like Michelle's much more engaged this season, like with her verbiage. And I saw some other people talking about this. The way she's talking, I think, is a lot more interesting. I don't know.
I think she's hilarious.
Hmm.
What she said about me every time I was on that screen cracked me up. I think she's so witty and so smart, but we don't ever get to meet her.
Hmm.
Because my season and season 7 was during the writer's strike.
Hmm.
So that's why she wasn't at our finale, and I'm almost 1,000% sure that she was not at the season 7 finale. So, but no, I find her extremely funny. And honestly, I didn't pay attention if she had talked more in this episode or not, because at that point, when they're switching, I'm kind of like scrolling through my phone, to be completely honest.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up episode 2. Um, episode
Yeah.
3. What were your thoughts going into this episode?
So going into episode 3, you have Savannah who is boo-hooing to Kevin because she didn't get invited to the party. Once again, Savannah, don't trust a man. You know this by now, and don't. This is what I'm kind of getting from Savannah, and I don't know her personally. This is just from my observation. I feel like she is one of those girls that once she gets a crush or once she gets a boyfriend, she drops everything and just her whole world revolves around that in particular person.
Mhm.
I hope she grows up from that because I've learned I used to be that girl, young and dumb, and I lost a lot of friends because of that. So I hope she grows out of that. But episode 3, she's whining and crying because she didn't get to the party. She pretends that she forgives him when all in reality she forgave him. She thinks he's a cutie. And then we've got Deb who made a group chat to reconnect with the players Rachel and Jadeja, and Gianna asks details from the party and creates an alliance. Um, did you feel like that was like a very bold move, or do you like people who just go straight in, direct, give me the answers, let's go?
I mean, I appreciate that about people in
I do
real
too.
life, but sometimes that can come off the wrong way on a
Ex-
show like
e-
this.
Especially in a text. That's what I
Yes.
was going to say. In a text, it can come
Hmm.
across very aggressive. But I will say this, I am nosy AF. I
Hmm.
am the nosy Rosie. I will ask you anything and
Hmm.
not think twice about it just because I simply want to know. So I don't fault her for asking because I would have been dying. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of party was it? Who all was there? What did you
Hmm.
do? What did you talk about? Did you
Right.
form a line? I'm like, I would have just put it all out there.
Hmm. And it really
So
wasn't that exciting. So
no,
she
it
didn't
was
really
boring
miss
as
anything.
crap.
Yeah.
It was boring. So yeah, she should be glad, didn't get to go.
Uh-huh.
And then what do we have? We have Andy and Madeline begin to flirt, and Madeline does not think Andy is a catfish. And I'm glad we left that in the little note. I love how it is starting to become normal not to worry about the catfish, because I feel like in previous seasons it's, oh, get the catfish, who's catfish. Well, guess what, that's not the point of the game. The point of
Yeah.
the game is just to win, regardless if you're a catfish or you're not. So I really like how our season and this season so far, ours as in season 6, this season doesn't really care if they're catfishes or not. But Madeline did make the point to say, I don't think that he is one. And
Yeah.
she didn't even say that she cared or not.
Hmm.
Just the picture looks good and,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then we get into our next challenge, or game. I call it challenge because it's Survivor, whatever it's really called. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was a pop culture quiz called Cray Pop. Rachel Deb, bless her heart, she didn't really do so hot in some of the abbreviation questions. And I
Mm-hmm.
think some people started to think that Rachel is possibly older because of it.
Yeah, and I can see why, because some of those were like so obvious. And
Mhm.
even I got them right. And I was like, patting myself, I'm like, you go,
Mhm.
Blondie. Good job.
Yeah.
You got something right for once. So I can definitely see how it would come across as, yeah, Rachel, how do you not know what that is at your age? So
Right.
good thinking for Heather slash Andy.
Mhm.
I
Um,
agree. And then, go ahead.
then we get over to the ratings.
Yes.
Everyone could rate. Garrett and Madeline got the opportunity to rate, but they could not be rated by the other players.
Yeah, and that
Um,
ticks me off. That ticks me off so bad because you have these two extra votes coming against you
mhm.
when they don't know you, they just gone there. I don't
Mm,
think that's fair. I think once you're in, you're in. Yeah, it's crappy that you come in late, but work a little harder. I don't feel like you
mhm.
should get a pass. Or they should just let us all come in at the same time
Yeah,
rather than having these people come in late and
I
then
never
get to
understood
vote.
that. I
Me
never
either.
understood
I
that.
don't like that. I do
Yeah.
not like that at all. What's fair for one should be fair for all.
Hmm. I agree. And so then after the ratings, the bros get back together. Kevin, Darian, and Andy joined this private group chat, and it seemed like Andy was okay with not being invited. Nothing crazy happened there, I feel like.
No, I feel like, he's a 34, your old man, supposedly, very mature. Probably even Heather didn't, I mean, what's there to care about? It's a party.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I know you've got my back. I'm secure in our alliance, in our relationship. I'm not worried about it. But I think at that point, wasn't that when Savannah had made the comment about him being old?
Yeah,
Because
and
that really ticked me off. 34 is not old. Coming from
Kevin
a
keeps
30-year
calling.
old woman.
Kevin keeps calling him Grandpa, and I'm like,
Yes, and I'm like, excuse me, but then again, I got thinking, okay, Cass, do you remember when you were 22-year-old? 30 was ancient. And now that I'm 30, I am not ancient. I am truly living my best life. And 30s are the best. You'd have no idea. But it pissed me off and it gave me like a towards
mm-hmm,
Savannah after she said that. But then once again, I have to defend her. I was 22 at one point and 30 seemed like 100. But I'll
mm-hmm.
let her slide this time. But now moving forward, 30 is young.
um, so we get to the rating results. They got the alert, and
Alert!
Savannah ends up getting last place, which is crazy because she was the influencer, the fake influencer at this point. Um, Kevin gets first, K first,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and
fine.
Gianna makes a shocking, especially with two more votes. She has really turned herself around and got up to second place here.
And that's what I was trying to say earlier. It sucks when you get the influence because guess what? They're like, oh, well, she was an influencer. She's a threat. So let's vote her
Hmm.
really low.
Yeah.
Happens every time. And then you've got Gianna. Well, she about got blocked. She's not too big of a threat. Nobody likes her. So we'll rate her a little higher. I
Mm.
mean, they just asked for it or just didn't really think all that through. But I will say, coming from experience, it's a whole lot easier to play the game on the couch versus when you're actually in the apartment. It is a whole lot harder and you don't think as clear. There's a lot going on, and I can see why people screw up their ratings like I did.
So right after the ratings, Rachel is very confused. Deb's very confused as to how Kevin got first. And there seems to be a little bit of an argument. You want to talk about
And
that?
I love it. I love the feisty. I love the fire. And I'm not old, and I'm not saying that 54 is old, but I just can't wait till I get to that gap of that age where I can say anything I want and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I love most about it is that she's being masked by a younger, what do we say, 26-year-old
26.
Rachel. And I just find it so funny. I love it. This is what I've been waiting on. Forget the
Hmm.
relationships. I don't care if you think they're cute and you're in an alliance because you're single. Give me the drama.
Yep. And the episode, of course, ends on a cliffhanger as we're about to
Of
find out
course.
who gets blocked.
Of course. Like, I hate when they do that. I hate a cliffhanger. So, yeah, so we're sitting on the edge of our seats wondering who gets
Mhm.
blocked. And then the very beginning of episode 4, Gianna used her power to control Kevin's decision, which Kevin, you know, come across as untrustworthy. What was your thoughts on that?
Um, I was surprised by this, but I thought it was very interesting. I was really excited to see how this played out. Um, I don't know. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to build off of your thoughts on this one.
Okay, well, my thoughts is they gave me that little bit of I knew I didn't like you for a reason
Mm,
because they just come in so strong and so dominant. It's their way or no way. I feel as if they've never been told no a day in their life. And it's kind of annoying but I do see their point too. Like they are an influencer too.
mhm.
But if anything, it's really more of Kevin. Like, hello, you're literally just want to give up your alliance that quick, that easy. Once again, Savannah, don't trust the man, And here she is. Now I feel so sorry for her because here she is thinking, oh, I'm good. I'm safe. Kevin has got my back. And him sitting there like, free for all. Like, yeah, have her. Who
Yeah.
cares? I'll get rid of her. And I don't think he thought long term of how people were going to see him now.
It was not a good move. Not a good move on his
No,
part.
terrible.
Um,
Terrible.
yeah, and which again doesn't shock me. I felt the incompetence. But anyways, moving on. After this, Garrett was invited to two separate group alliance chats, which well, I think this is a little out of order. I'm going to come back to this at the end. I wrote it down again at the bottom. Um, Keep in mind, viewers back at home on your couch watching The Circle, Garrett does get invited to two separate group alliance chats. Please don't forget that. I feel like it's very important, but we're going to get to it later. Who was blocked, Cassie?
Wah, wah, wah. It was Savannah, the
Mhm.
22-year-old from Texarkana who had brain surgery. Because that's all we know from her. We didn't get anything else other than she thought K Fern was hot and she's had brain surgery.
The
But
dog.
also, I got so tickled. I have hair extensions, right? I will shout it. I don't hide my, like, it is what it is. I buy my hair. But there is one thing that I do. I try to hide that I buy my hair. And honey, every time that camera got on her, you could see that big track, and I felt so bad. All I wanted to do was reach through that screen with a hairbrush and brush
Hmm.
her hair. But yes, she gets blocked. And I want to be heartbroken for her, but at the same time, like, girl, you knew better. You
Yeah.
knew better. So I wasn't upset. Honestly, I was not upset. Now, if it had been Andy slash Heather or anybody else, I probably would, or Deb, I would have died. I probably would have stopped watching. But since it was Savannah, I was like, oh, okay, we can go on without her anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, the dog. First off, has that ever
Oh,
happened
yeah.
before where there's a dog in there? Has it?
Season six, our season, Kyle
Okay.
brought his dog, and that was the first time that they started doing that. But I find it weird too, and I don't find it very fair. I'm a very much fair person, and I don't find it very fair because I'm sitting there bored all day, but
Hmm.
yet they get a dog to play with. Not that
Yeah.
I would even want one because I don't like dogs, but still, yet.
Yeah. Well, and Savannah, well, at first it thought maybe it was like an emotional support thing, just with like the brain surgery, but no. Mm-mm.
No, they never elaborated. All she was worried about was finding Samson the dog a stepdaddy.
Mm,
Like, there's more important things at 22 years old than a stepdaddy.
for a
Trust
dog.
me, been there, done that.
Yeah. And then Gianna sent message as Kevin. This whole thing. Loyalty means everything to me. My word is wait, sorry. My word is my bond. I never had an alliance with Savannah, so it wasn't me. What do you think about this?
Good for Gianna because if anything, that didn't destroy Gianna's game, it destroyed Kevin's game. And at the end of the day, we are playing for $100,000. And if you
Hmm.
have to throw somebody under the bus, then good for you. Don't do it to me, but I like watching it. You know what I mean?
I agree. And then in Savannah's final message, so first off, Savannah visits Kevin. Okay, which wasn't
Hmm.
shocking to me.
No, of course. 'Cause she doesn't have a connection with anybody else because that's all
Yeah.
she worried about. So, of course, she's going to go meet Kevin.
Hmm.
And why they acted shocked and tried to hide that they were going to come see her is beyond me.
Yeah. She reveals that Rachel was questioning Kevin in their at-risk player chat. What do you think about that? I mean, I didn't really think it was crazy. I mean, she's gone. Now, what I doubt personally, I will be watching the next four episodes this evening. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not versed in what has happened after this, but I feel like Kevin is not competent enough to like use this against Rachel or anything. I could be surprised, but we'll see. We'll see how
No,
that goes.
I have watched it and I won't spoil it, but yeah, you're right on the money. It's whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Savannah comes and meets him and she's ticked off and tells him that he isn't the stepdaddy anymore. Good for her. Finally her eyes are opening. And you can tell like she didn't hug him. She didn't really want much to do with him, and once again, it's his own fault. I wouldn't have
Mhm.
gave him any information. I would have gave
Yeah.
him two middle fingers and walked out the door.
Mhm.
It's exactly what I would have done.
I probably
So
wouldn't have
yeah,
even gone. I wouldn't have chosen him. I
yeah,
feel like
I
maybe
wouldn't have gave
you
him the satisfaction,
no. And
but
yeah.
I wouldn't have gave him. But she at this point doesn't know. But at the same time, he was an influencer and he did have a say, and he could have said absolutely not, and he didn't. So no, heck
Mhm.
no, I wouldn't have come and saw him for $100,000.
Yeah. I have a question. You know when, they're on the way to come visit someone and they jump up and they hear something. Do the producers play with you like a
Yes.
detailed? Okay.
Yes, they will knock on the door and you're like, but then nobody walks in and you're like, oh my God, you got me, you know.
I know.
But yeah, they do mess with you. And they do, like, they don't tell you go hide, but you've watched the show enough. You basically just follow suit of everybody
Mhm.
else that you've watched. Um, but no, they will knock on the door and give you a heart attack and then nothing ever happens. So
Mhm. Savannah's final message. She throws shade at Kevin and Andy. I thought that was funny. I ate it up. I liked her final message.
I thought it was funny. I felt like we saw more personality in the exit.
Which
I'm
is
trying to
so
look at our notes here.
sad. Like
Yeah, because
her
I
personality
wanted to
shined
get,
through.
and that's my biggest issue with this first four batches. I know nothing about them. All I
Mhm.
know is who they think is cute and who they're in alliance with because they're single. I want more. I want to fall in love with you for who you are, not because you're single. So I did hate that we got to see a little more of her in the exit. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping, like I said, I didn't want to spoil, but the next four for me gets better, and I'm hoping it continues
Yeah,
to do that to get to know these people.
I agree. Um, Heated conversation after the not eviction, but after the blocking. Heated conversation, especially between Kevin and Gianna. What did you think about that?
I love it. Like, give him down the road.
Mhm.
He should have not have got rid of one of his alliances because it makes him look terrible. It has ruined his game.
Mhm.
So, I mean, chew him out, spit him out. I don't blame you. If it had been me, I'd been like, well, I'm definitely not working with you.
Mhm.
You just sent your girlfriend home, who
Yeah.
you publicly told that you all were digging each other. So,
Mhm.
no, like, get out of here.
Um, Madeline bonded with Kevin throughout this, which I mean, that's kind of I feel like her MO. OnlyFans, let's bond with everybody. So they bonded, nothing crazy. And then there was this alliance. Madeline, Kevin, and Andy came together against
Mhm.
Rachel and Gianna with the goal of that. What do you think about that? Especially Daria not being included in that.
I think at this point, Kevin is grasping for straws and is just trying to get anybody who will listen. And if you notice, he used Andy, which is a guy, but then he pulls in Madeline. And if Madeline was halfway smart, she wouldn't want to even try to flirt with Kevin because who Kevin was just flirting with just walked out the door and is like a dog and a squirrel. Like
Hmm.
Kevin's the dog, he's like squirrel, like another girl I can flirt with. Like, no,
Yeah.
it gave me the ick. It
Hmm.
gave me the ick for sure.
So this is what I was getting at earlier. I jumped out of order. So Garrett was invited to a group chat with Rachel and Gianna.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was a very generic conversation,
Of
possible
course.
alliance. But then Garrett just left the chat early to join this bros chat that Kevin invited Garrett to. I thought it was interesting.
Well, for Garrett, he solidified this little alliance with them. What more can you say? And at the
Hmm.
same time, you have this other group chat waiting on you,
Hmm.
and you get to see it. Like everybody's just waiting. Well,
Hmm.
why isn't he getting in here? Does he not want to?
Hmm.
And your wheels start spinning as to why he hasn't jumped in this chat. So I think he left it really early to go into that one, so they didn't think that. And
Yeah.
like I said, he already solidified he was in alliance. Let's go make another one. I feel like he could have ended it a little softer. Thank you all. I love you so much. I can't wait to work together. TTYL. But no, it was just like, bye.
Hmm. And I mean, what? It sucks because you can't be like, well, let me go to I have to go to the bathroom. Like, there's no excuse you can really give to get out of something. Like, it's really difficult, which makes the game interesting, I feel like.
It does. It's a
Yeah.
very hard game.
And yet again, the disruptor
Hmm.
power is back. Do you want to talk about what is coming up and what to expect with this disruptor
Yes,
power?
yes, I can't even talk. Disruptor power is back, and Madeline and Rachel slash Deb, they get it. And what they have to do is switch profiles. So Deb has to pretend to be Madeline. Madeline has to pretend to be Rachel slash Deb. I am was because I'm watching it now, but so anxious to see how Deb was going to be an OnlyFans model. Like you said
Hmm.
earlier, she covers up the pillow of Phil every time something a little spicy gets going on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I want them to succeed because I want Deb to continue to be in the game. Because from my understanding, if Madeline or Rachel gets blocked, they go home, but they have to continue to be their profile. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. So I would much rather. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, would it be fun to watch Deb be Madeline and be this OnlyFans model and be all spicy and dirty?
I'm
Or would it be.
excited.
But then again, with Deb, we've seen her as Rachel, who is mouthy and who don't care to attack, and I like that too. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, I'm sure they wanted like a superpower to stay, but they let you know first thing it could be good or it could be
Hmm.
bad. And for them, this could potentially ruin their game. If you think about it, if you wanted to really get at somebody, you could destroy their game 100% and you still get to stay. So it's going to be fun. I really like this.
I think that, being able to see their alliances and see who they're communicating with and who gets invited to a chat, and you just kind of play off like what you just got to make stuff up. And it sucks
Hmm.
because if they start bringing up stuff that's happened in the past within their group chats, she's just got to go along with it. There's nothing you
Yeah.
can do.
What I
But
always say, fake it till you make it. They
mhm.
are literally going to have to fake it till you make it.
Yes. So that is the first four episodes of The Circle season 7. We've got some fun little segments we're gonna get into here. Not a whole lot, but are we gonna do this together? Or are we gonna pick our own? Should we pick our own?
Oh, yeah, let's pick our own. If they
Okay.
just so happen to be the same, then they just so happen to be the
Yeah.
same.
So we're gonna do this. It's called the Bless Your Heart Awardee, and we're gonna
And
award someone. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, and if you're from the South, you know
Hmm.
exactly what that means.
Hmm.
Bless your heart. And that is not in a good way. That
Hmm.
is in a bad way. So don't take it personal. Y'all, if yous are listening from the cast of season 7, if you get the Bless Your Heart award, just wear it proud,
Hmm.
okay? But yeah, we're going to start out with Bless Your Heart award. I'll let you, Shaw, go first. Because I
I'm
think mine's
going.
pretty obvious at this point.
I'm going with Kevin,
You're going
and
with Kevin.
I'm
Yes, that's good. I see.
and I don't know. I just feel like the Savannah blocking was really stupid and incompetent.
Hmm.
I feel like called him incompetent a handful of times, which I don't mean in a rude way, but it is what it is. I'm just not a fan. I find him very annoying and fake, and I hope that in future episodes, like the next four that I'm watching tonight, that he grows and has this growth mindset and really shines, which I doubt, but I'm hopeful.
Well, don't hold your breath. But
Yeah.
so I think for my little bless your heart, I think I'm going to pass that on to Savannah. I mean, come on, sissy, get with the program. We don't trust men. I mean, especially in a game, and especially one that you don't know that you just met. So yeah, bless your heart, sissy, is all I got to say.
So, our pro of the episode. This I feel like this might be a working title, but the best performer I feel like in the first four episodes. We're gonna call it the Southern Charmer.
Yep.
And my person is not necessarily, I feel like, might not be the best performer, but I feel like is my favorite, and I think they're gonna shine. And we might have a similar feel for this, but you might interpret it a little differently. I'm picking Deb slash Rachel. Um, do you agree? Is that what you're picking?
For my Southern Charmer, as far as like being the best player, I
Mhm.
wouldn't go with Deb. I just like her. But
Yeah.
as far as a player in the game, for me, I'm gonna pick Andy. He's not really ruffled any feathers. He's got some alliances. He's got a girlfriend. He's got the bros. So I give my Southern Charmer to Heather slash Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think that's a good choice. And I probably should have made a better choice, honestly. But there's just something about Deb. If I never
There's
give,
something about her.
if
Like I just want to sit on the couch with her and
hmm
just be around her. I
hmm
love her. So no, you done a good one. You
yeah,
done a
and
good one.
if I never give it to her again, I can say I gave it to her one time, and that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So last thing, we're gonna do a segment as Cassie has been on the show. We're gonna do an Ask Cassie segment where I kind of ask a couple of questions that dig in to the game behind the scenes. So, first question, Cassie, what was your strategy going into the game in your season, and how did it change as the season progressed?
Well, I'm probably known as the worst strategic player ever in history. In my mind, it just sounded so good,
Mm,
but then it all planned out terribly. But like my overall, I didn't really have one. I feel
yeah.
like I'm very go with the flow. I can be friends with anybody, and if I don't like you, I will at least fake it to your face and then talk about you behind your back when you're not around. It's just a Southern thing. Don't take it personal, but I will be nice to you. So I really didn't have one. All I knew was that I just wanted to be me, 100% me, and show my girls or show single mothers that just because you get divorced and have kids doesn't mean that your life is over. Like
Mm,
mine literally just begun. So I really wanted to show that more than getting to know these people on a personal level in order for me to win the $100,000. No, I wanted to win the $100,000, but I didn't care. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like as far as being strategic that way. And
yeah.
that's probably why I went home and didn't win. So don't play that type of game.
So I think the difference was something like Big Brother, because you're in a place for a long time. You are isolated, but you have a bunch of people to talk to about anything. So how did you handle isolation by yourself and the lack of contact with the outside world?
I loved every minute of it. Every minute of it because, like I said, I've got 5 kids. I don't have a moment of peace. I can't even go in the bathroom and take a crap without a kid sitting there looking at me. So I loved it. Now, don't get me wrong, I miss them and I
Mhm.
miss Nate and like my friends, but like overall, I didn't think twice about it. I took as many naps uninterrupted as I wanted. I got to drink all the Coca Cola because my kids always go and get my Coke and I never have one. I loved it. I loved it.
So, last question. Why and how did you decide whether to play as yourself or a catfish?
For me, it was easy. I couldn't imagine being anybody else but myself, and I struggle being me because I'm so difficult, and some people say a hot mess. I'm a spicy disaster. Like you never know what you're going to get, or what I'm going to do. I really need my own reality TV show, but for me, it was just a no brainer. Like I as a crazy woman, I got multiple personalities, so I could have chose any personality I wanted, but at least let me use my face. But they did ask me that. They was like, "Okay, if we were to have you catfish, who would you catfish?" And I was like, one of my other personalities,
Yeah.
because like I have to be me, and
Mhm.
I feel like if we've known each other now for a while, I feel like if you watch the show and talk to me, I'm the same exact person. And I don't feel as if I would have been able to catfish anybody.
Mhm.
I would have completely failed.
I agree. And I couldn't do it either. I would try and fail. I'd be first out. It'd be awful.
Yeah,
But
it'd be
Well, that's all my questions this week. We'll get into some more in the future, but I think this was great. I'm glad we got together and did this, and I think we're going to have a great time exploring the rest of this season, and maybe, hey, we'll pick up another show after. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm really hoping with season 7 that we get a little more than I know I'm like beating a dead horse. I want more than just relationship. Give
Mm-hmm.
me more. So I'm really hoping these next episodes we get to know more of them, and then also we've got our rap party in LA that I'm flying out to, and I'll actually get to meet these players. So for sure, stay tuned, listeners, for the next few weeks, because we're definitely going to have to recap on the rap party after we get to meet these people in person, and we'll be able to give you, my insight on that, and then of course we'll get Shaw's opinion. Thank you all for listening. We're super excited, and come back next week.
Yeah, and don't forget to bless people's hearts back home. And we will
Yes.
catch you next week. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Gossip from wait, what was it? Thank you for joining from grits to
Grits to
gossip.
gossip.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.